Good morning, everyone. Happy Holi. As I take a walk on the beach in Mumbai, one can feel safe and secure as a nation. Imagine the plight of Ukrainians, and can you believe we also had similar times some time back? This Sunday, I had the privilege to be part of three soldiers' families who, in such horrendous times for the nation, stood up shoulder to shoulder with their comrades in arms and became impregnable wall to defend the peace we enjoy today. They had been part of famous battles in India-Pak wars, which contributed to the strength India finds in itself today. Subedar Bhoop Singh, 9 Jar, in Battle of Cham 1971, Chandrabhan Sahu of 7th CAV, Battle of Asal Uttad 1965, and Subedar Sardar Singh, 3 Jar, Battle of Dograil 1965. Subedar Bhoop Singh was then CHM of Company 9 Jar. In the night of 9th and 10th December 71, a fierce battle was fought here on Manavatavi River, which saw Fort Punjab capturing some portions of the west bank of Manavatavi, which was held by a company of 9 JAT. But the breach was so weak that by the time counter-attacking force of 10 Infantry Division of Indian Army moved in, they had abandoned their portion. As also the attacking force on their either side was largely unsuccessful. Mind you, for Indians, it was so important to hold this line. Breaching this line would have meant that Pakistani forces would have exploited and reached Akhnur and cut off the rest of Indian forces operating in Punch Rajouri sector, which was about 11, strength of 11,000 people, which would have given a big bargaining power to Pakistan on the negotiating table. 9 Jats suffered heavily, with 2 officers and more than 80 other ranks killed. That is the story of valor. That is how you know, the nation is safe. People have given their blood when it was required. Also in the picture you can see Colonel Rajkumar being now attired as the head of the family after his father Subedar Bhoop Singh passed away recently. Colonel Rajkumar himself is a Shaurya Chakra awardee for his operations in insurgency area. The second function I was invited was in the memory of Chandrabhan. Was a young lad in 1965 and had been recruited in 7th Light Cavalry. 7th Light Cavalry had just been converted to PT-76 then. It is a light amphibious tank with very limited armor thickness. So the chances of open confrontation with the enemy tanks was not possible. However, 4 mountain division, which is short of which mountain divisions are short of anti-tank elements, so they were given whatever anti-tank elements could be mustered for them. And one squadron of 7th Light Cavalry was also inducted. Mind you, finally, this 4 mountain division, which adopted a very good defensive posture, beat the 1 armor division of Pakistan, destroyed more than 100 decks, and captured 40. And a pattern Nagar was created in this area. Indians won this battle. If this line would have been breached, the chances of losing a large Indian territory in plains was a possibility. Chandrabhan was killed in action. People like Chandrabhan and lots of soldiers who fought the battle in this area, the nation is grateful to them today that it is safe. And a loss in this area would have resulted in catastrophe for India. Fortunately, his village, even after 57 years, remembers him. And that is the spirit of a nation which helps a nation safe and secure. A word about Bharat Force. 4 Mountain Division Being a mountain division, had very limited anti-tank resources. So whatever anti-tank resources which were pooled to help out 4th Mountain Division were really not sufficient enough. One can see most of the tanks couldn't have taken on the Patton tanks in direct tank-to-tank battle. Only few tanks, Centurions of 3rd Cavalry were capable of taking on the battle with Patton, but still, 4th Mountain Division was able to hold on and destroy this one armored division, which is a great victory for India. Naib Subedar Sardar Singh was one of the leading platoon commanders of the leading company of 3 JAT. On September 6, 1965, this battle resulted in India's capture of Dograi, a township on bank of Ichhobil Canal on road Amritsar-Lahore. This suburb of Lahore was captured twice, once on 6 September and second time on 22nd September, and with heavier casualties in the second time. A battalion of 550 Indian troops captured a fortified position from over double the number of well-entrenched defenders. Inspirational leadership at all levels annihilated Pakistan's 16 Punjab and captured its commanding officers, 8 officers, and 108 soldiers. In the first battle itself, Pakistan suffered casualties, 2 officers and 35 other ranks. 2 officers and 12 other ranks were captured. In the second battle, 308 Pakistani soldiers and 86 Indian soldiers gave their life. 3 JAT suffered 9 killed in action and 43 wounded in the first battle itself. Capture of West Bank of Ichhogal turned the 1971 war on its heels, with Pakistan earlier in offensive mode in Kashmir, recoiling to save itself from advancing Indian army. Now looking at similarities with Russia-Ukraine war and Indo-Pak conflicts. In both cases, people fighting were part of the same nation and shared similar history. In fact, they might be sharing similar DNA. A large majority of these people, opposing forces, especially in Indo-Pakistan war, fighting at critical junctures, belong to the same village clusters before partition. The shared military ethos and regimentation system. Pakistan, like Ukraine, was largely US trained. As far as dissimilarities are concerned, Indo-Pak war was more focused on professionalism and battle amongst professional soldiers because the war was very short. And attrition rate of professional soldiers were very high in Indo-Pak war. Local superiority of force was achieved by planning and maneuver in Indo-Pak wars, whereas Russians are, in superior numbers against Ukraine. There was lack of air superiority on the either side in Indo-Pak wars, except in East Pakistan in 1971, where Indian Air Force was very superior. And both India and Pakistan respected the international voice and observed the ceasefire in a shorter time frame. In the end, one can really see that politics, especially revolving around religion and ethnicity, have been one of the major factors of nations going to war. Individually, no soldier gains in these conflicts, yet they continue to fight around a narrative built by political leadership, which is largely influenced by the external forces.